Now, remember that time when white folks were beating their chest, saying that they don't need nobody, they don't need black folks in their lives. In fact, they wanted to be in a whites only space and they wanted blacks to be in a blacks only space. This communicated some things. This communicated that at the back of their minds, they felt like they are self sufficient. And when they're self sufficient, it means that they don't need any other group. So, this is what happened. They said that they don't want black people close to them. They can do without black people. They have invented their own things. But later on, a reality came to hit them. And the reality was that they can never do without black folks. Well, in fact, what they were saying is the opposite of the truth. Now, there are some instances where some white folks came out and said that they could never do without black support. It is the people from the black community that blessed them. It is people from the black community that supported their businesses. The people that supported their businesses never looked like them. And the people that supported their businesses were black folks. Those were the groups of people that he was trying to talk about. Oftentimes, we have seen white folks claim that they are better than black folks, they can do without black people. Every damn inventions, useful inventions that have ever been invented, they were invented by black folks. And here we have some white people that are saying that they can do without black people. They have been doing without black people. But they just need a little reminder. They just need to be reminded that, you know what, whatever you are saying or whatever you're believing to be saying, black folks invented it. We have seen a lot of white folks coming out thanking black people for their support, for the good things that they ever did. Because indeed, black people have supported people from the white community. So many times, black folks have stood up and have stood for and with white people. Brothers and sisters, I want you to watch this video. I'll be back. I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. So let's watch the video. I'll be back.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets, because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either, because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today.
You're saying because in your video you said we don't need them, they need us. Who's they?
Yes.
Who's they?
The white people ultimately don't need other races in order to succeed, in order to be ourselves. Absolutely not.
So how do you think America became the greatest economic nation without?
Not through black people.
Oh, it wasn't? It wasn't because of free labor?
Are you talking about slavery?
No, I'm talking about slavery and also what happened after slavery, which Douglas Blackman talked about, slavery by another name. So I'm trying to understand, when you say didn't need it, how do you think America became the greatest economy that it did? How do you think that happened?
Through the genius of Europeans.
How was it the genius of Europeans when the fact of the matter is it was actually King Cotton that supplied the economic means for America to do so? And that was a result of free labor from black people.
Look, the whole point here is that who creates these systems, who creates these business models and businesses?
Slavery was a business model?
Well, yes, it was a business model, yeah.
And was that one that you like or dislike?
I dislike.
You dislike?
Yeah, I absolutely reject it.
Okay,
yeah.
so but you deny the reality, though.
No,
that's what allowed America to become the economic power, because America supplied 91% of the world's cotton, and so as a result of that, that's how America was able to fund the Industrial Revolution. It was because of free labor from black people.
Me, and hear me clearly. This country can't survive without you. It's never happened in the history of the world. In 1950, America was 90% white. It's not my opinion, it's a fact. I'm not making a racial comment, it's math. So that means with Dr. King, Andrew Young, other people, that was a miracle. It was moral. Today, America's 40% black and brown. Within 10 years, there'll be a majority of minorities. Baby boomers, all white, wealthy, and trying to go play golf at the same time. That's what's up right now. You got more people under age 18 and over 60, you have more people over 65 than under age 18. Those under 18 are black and brown. This economy is 70% consumer spending. 70. Not rich people. You. Car notes, rent, conference fees, small business, payroll, small things which you control. The largest economy on the planet, $30 trillion, and it can't survive without you. So here's what I said. I've been in Fortune, I've been in Time, I've been at conferences, very conservative people. Here's what I say. It always survives the this test. They don't do this. I say, I think you know what I'm going to say. Here's what I have to say. I want every white person here to be successful. One thing I'm saying. Number two, there's not enough college-educated, successful white men to drive GDP, gross domestic product, for the next 20 years. It's mathematically impossible. So unless you want to be speaking Chinese, Mandarin in the next 20 years, no, that went over your head. Let me, you think you're at a black conference. You think you're at some conference that's about some narrow agenda. That's not what Bishop T.D. Jakes thinks. That's not what the God has endowed. You are the cultural post. You have defined culture and cool all over the world. If you say it's cool in South Korea. But what we have not defined, what we have not mastered, is capitalism and commerce. Where the rules are published and the playing field is level, we kill it. Sports. The arts. Faith. Politics. From slavery to the President of the United States of America. Where the rules are published and the playing field is level, we kill it. No one gave us anything. We went and took it. Playing by the rules. Wishing everybody else well. So what happens if you turn your attention to capitalism and free enterprise? And you don't just say black lives matter, black capitalists matter.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets, because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either, because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today. I mean, if you love potato chips, they gotta go, because a man named George Crumb, a chef in New York, had sent French fries out with a meal and a customer complained. So what did Mr. Crumb do? He sliced potatoes so thin, fried them up, dumped a bunch of salt on them, and sent them out. And that is the American delight of potato chips. They gotta go.
You are absolutely right. Black people were paying taxes for food stamps that they didn't fucking qualify for in 1939. In 1939, they were federally funded. So that means the federal taxes by Americans was paying for that shit. Almost knocked that over. Black Americans were paying through income tax, sales tax, and other forms of taxation, even though most of them were excluded from receiving any of those goddamn benefits. Franklin D. Roosevelt made the New Deal with farmers and the surplus of food that they had on hand. And this gave farmers the ability to sell their surplus and help feed the hungry. I'm sorry, white folks. This allowed white folks to get orange stamps for food and blue stamps for surplus food for free. Now, the program was administered through local government and often by county offices. And in the Jim Crow South, baby, you ain't getting shit. Local offices routinely denied black folks of any help or gave them little to no amount. At that time, we didn't have our civil rights, so no one could fight against the discrimination of food aid. So while black people helped fund food stamps, white people got to eat off of our backs. Something that has been happening since the beginning of this fucking country. White folks love to call black people ghetto and tell us to change our culture. Yes, that shit came from a congressman, but don't realize they kept eating off of us from the beginning. So for all you white folks that sit there and talk shit about black people and being on food stamps and any type of services that the government funds for people in need, baby, y'all are the first broke bitches in this country.
We the reason America. Not just with the Civil War, brother. Let's go before the Civil War. Let's go to the Louisiana Purchase. Do you know that this country is 3 times the size it was? Because the Haitian Revolution went to Saint-La Overture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Christophe and Pétion and Cecil Fatiman and Boukman and Macandal when they destroyed Napoleon's army. A slave army defeated the greatest general the white man ever had. An army of slaves defeated the greatest general the white man ever had. And because the Haitian Revolution bankrupted Napoleon, he sold his American territories to America for pennies on the dollar.
I remember that.
The Louisiana Purchase loan quadrupled the size of the United States of America. So when I tell you America wouldn't be America without black people, America wouldn't be America without black people.
That's a fact.
Black power. Black power. Here in the bathroom, Lotta Newman patented the first hairbrush with synthetic bristles in 1898, and she's just the third Black American woman to ever receive a patent. Now, I know this isn't going to affect those skinheads very much. In 1892, George Sampson of Dayton, Ohio, received patent number 476,416 for what is the forerunner of the modern dryer we use today. It's going to suck drying your clothes outside. In the late 1880s, Samuel Scottron of Pennsylvania patented the curtain rod. Woo, let's go piss off some white girls. It's going to be really hard to plan racist rallies without a color monitor. Invented by Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, he is also on 3 of the original 9 patents of the IBM PC that came out in 1981. Did you know in 1897, Albert Crowell in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, developed the mechanized ice cream scoop. You know, the click, click that separates the ice cream from the spoon, changing the way ice cream is served. And if you're racist and an ice cream lover, it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse. Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, pioneered many of the methods we have today to enjoy ice cream, including the way we salt it. Another thing about being a racist, you're going to have to give up the freezer and frozen foods, because Frederick McKinley Jones of Ohio, who was orphaned at 9 years old with a 6th grade education, a young biracial boy, grew up to invent Thermo King, which is the reason why we have frozen foods that are shipped and stored in stores and our homes. You got to give up ice cream and frozen pieces? Do you see that little doohickey on the wall right there, that little white thing? That's called your thermostat. That's how you control your AC. That was invented by David Crossway, who got his engineering degree right here in Indiana at Purdue University. He's so cold, he designed the heating system for Radio City Music Hall and Rockefeller Center. Sorry, racists, no AC this summer. This is really gonna mess your shit up. The porcelain toilet as we know it was designed by Thomas Elkins in 1872.
Let me break something down for you, right? America is not just a country. It's a machine, every piece of it. The government, the corporations, the banks, the military, the schools, they're all gears working together to keep this engine running. But here's the truth that they don't want you to realize. This machine does not run without us. Black people have been the engine oil of America since 1619. We built the infrastructure, we picked the cotton that funded Wall Street, and created the culture that powers the world. We are the rhythm, the labor, the innovation, the humanity that keeps this whole thing from rusting apart. And now under Project 2025, that same machine is being redesigned, not to include us, but to use us quietly while pretending we don't matter. They're trying to rebuild America into a system that looks free on paper, but functions like a modern plantation, where your work is necessary, but your freedom is optional, where your voice is legal, but your influence is erased. That's what this Trump regime won't say out loud. They don't want America to look racist, they just want it to function that way again. They don't want segregation signs, they want segregation through policy like housing and wages and education and even access to the truth. See, every machine needs 2 things, right? Power and control. And Black America has always been the power. That's why they fight so hard for the control. They can't risk us realizing how valuable we are, because if we ever moved in unity, this whole engine would have to be rebuilt from the ground up. But here's the part that they have not calculated for. We're not just workers in this machine anymore. We're becoming engineers. We're creating our own businesses. We're building our own schools. We're mastering technology and globally connecting to Africa in the diaspora. We're learning how the system works so we can build one that works for us. And let me tell you something else. If America ever tries to run without us, without our creativity, our moral compass, our spirit, it'll run loud, but it won't go anywhere. Because without the people who built it, the machine breaks down. So my message is simple. Don't fear Project 2025, understand it. Because once you understand how this machine operates, you can stop being a cog and start being a creator. You can stop asking to be accepted and start designing your own future. Because the truth is, America needs us far more than we need it. And when that realization becomes collective, when we all start moving like we know our value, no president, no project, no policy can stop what's coming next.
Hey, come here. How many races does it take to change a light bulb? None. They don't want to be enlightened. Which is too bad, because the carbon filament in the light bulb that we've grown up and used, that lights up really bright, was invented by Louis Latimer, who's one of the chief engineers for Thomas Edison, and he helped design the telephone with Alexander Graham Bell. I mean, you can't even do something as simple as open the door, because that door handle was patented in 1878 by Osborne Dorsey. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I guess you probably were raised in a barn. And if you think you want to call all your buddies to come meet you at the laundromat so you can wash your white sheets together, because let's face it, if you're still a racist, you don't have a dryer, you don't have a gas furnace heater, you don't have a thermostat to control your AC, you can't open your doors without a doorknob, you especially cannot call your buddies without the cell phone. You're going to have to get rid of these, like I said, because Henry Sampson, a black genius inventor, patented and invented the gamma ray process, which uses radio waves to transmit and receive audio signals, which is what makes cell phones able to communicate with each other, and changed all our lives significantly. If you're still on that racist trip, I got some bad news for you. Your nectar of the gods, Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, was created by a black Nebraska cowboy named Steve Henson. And what many people might not know is he was a plumbing contractor in Alaska and made his fortune up there. And he created the dry powder ranch seasoning and gave it out to his employees, and they loved it. And when he retired and bought Hidden Valley Ranch in California, hence the name Hidden Valley Ranch, he started to sell it. Now he ended up selling it to Clorox Bleach, which they still own, which is a little weird when you think about it. The perfect white condiment sold to a company that makes a chemical that makes everything white. What did Mr. Henson know that he's not telling us? I almost feel sorry for you a little bit on this one. See that television behind me? There's a black badass American named Otis Boykin who developed a wire precision resistor for these TVs, which helped control the flow of electricity. More importantly, 2 years later, he improved upon this in 1961, making versions that could withstand extreme changes in pressure and temperature. Now, why is this important? Because TVs that work in Denver, Colorado would not work correctly in Little Rock, Arkansas. That being a very humid, hot state, Colorado being very dry, and then different air pressure up there. This greatly reduced the cost of TVs because you could mass produce them and sell them in Texas and Alaska, the same model. But wait, there's more. This man also developed the control unit for the pacemaker, which exists in over 1 million people today. So if you're racist, you probably know somebody's life who was saved by Otis Boykin. And the TV you watch? Otis Boykin. And he also helped design guided missile systems for the military. Yeah, told you he's a badass. Oh, you're not gonna like this. Not the lawnmower. Yep. Now, while John Albert Burr did not invent the lawnmower, he did patent the mechanical lawnmowers you see pictured above, which has design elements that are used to today's mowers, as well as his original mechanical design is making a huge comeback with people being really conscious about climate change. I guess some people will be hiring a lawn service now. Can't be using a lawnmower improved upon by a black man. This one's gonna sting. The ultimate white powder, sugar. Norbert Ryu, a black Creole Cajun man from Louisiana, was obsessed with steam engines and was a widely regarded expert in them. He developed an evaporator process that has revolutionized the entire sugar industry, and some of his principles are still used today. Gotta go. So after all this, if you are still down with this racist gig, a lot of your shit's gotta go. I mean, you're gonna have a huge garage sale. And I just have one thing to say to all the stuff you gotta get rid of.
All right, racist.
People often ask me, did you invent the helicopter? That's a complicated question.
Let's talk about the black American inventor who holds the patent for the helicopter. The first usable helicopter was patented by Paul E. Williams on November 26, 1962. The first useful helicopter was the Lockheed Model 186. Paul E. Williams was born on February 1, 1894 in Los Angeles. In 1921, he became a licensed architect and became the first black member of the American Institution of Architects in 1923. He also worked in the Navy Department as an architect during World War II. As an architect, Paul E. Williams designed over 3,000 buildings. In the early 1900s, vertical flying was a pipe dream for white engineers. They were too stupid to fully accomplish vertical flight. Many white invention thieves were thought to have a hand in the actual invention of the helicopter. Yet no one actually invented the rotors necessary for the usage of vertical flight until Paul E. Williams achieved his patent in 1908. The racism behind ignoring his work is mainly why this country fails to give him credit for inventing the helicopter. His patent wasn't even recognized until 1962. Another sly, coward attempt by white men to hide the achievements of black Americans while simultaneously needing them. Paul Williams joins a list of many black inventors whose work was stolen by inferior whites. His creation in rotor-based vertical flight was snubbed, and much was credited to Europeans, who couldn't even get their helicopter design off the ground. So we are 4 days into Black History Month, and we have yet to come across an invention or monumental invention by another race in this country. Was there anything that Native Americans invented in this country? Oh yes, that's right. Natives were building kayaks and inventing snow goggles that they can use on their reservations in the Grand Canyon, while black Americans were committing the indigenous acts of building helicopters and designing homes. All right, racists.
The next time you grab hold of a doorknob, think of Osborne Dorsey. Dorsey, a black man, invented the doorknob in 1878.
Let's discuss the invention that gave everyone with a home privacy. The invention of the doorknob. Think about it. At home, at work, in stores, we're always relying on doorknobs. Doorknobs are the unsung heroes of our safety, privacy, home protection, and personal space. We have Osborne Dorsey, who was born in 1862, to thank for that. In the 19th century, people used to rely on leather straps or latches to keep their doors shut. Either method was secure or convenient. However, a 16-year-old genius had a solution. In 1878, at the very youthful age of 16, Osborne Dorsey received a patent from the U.S. Patent Office. His initial patent request was for a device he named the door-holding device. Dorsey's design included a knob-like shape, described in his patent as a case or cap which could be easily attached to doors with screws, which is the foundation of the modern doorknob as we see today. It took time for people to embrace this new invention, but once they did, the doorknob became a game changer. Fast forward more than 100 years, and Dorsey's idea has evolved into an essential part of daily life. Modern doorknobs now feature advanced designs, from sleek, minimalist styles to smart locks with keyless entry, which has evolved his invention, blending security and technology. These innovations build on Dorsey's original concept, proving how one brilliant idea can shape the way we live and interact with our spaces. So anytime you step outside into the world with racism as your personality, don't forget that the device that you touch to exit your home was crafted by the very people you hate. There's not a city, a reservation, or home that Dorsey's invention hasn't touched. The peace and the security that was robbed from black Americans didn't stop them from inventing safety and security for others. All right, racists, let's wrap things up. We have come to the conclusion that black people have created just about everything, which factually makes them the original people. And I'm sure that the belief system in the social studies coded history has you assuming differently, but since some of you believed that the black American inventions were only historic, let's dispel that ideology right now. Here is who is inventing in the modern times. Janet Emerson Bashan. She obtained the patent for Linkline, a web app that manages workplace discrimination claims. She is the first black woman to patent a web-based platform. Mark Dean. the co-inventor of the IBM PC, the color monitor, and first gigahertz microprocessor. Every single desktop computer runs on his code. Dr. Hadiah Nicole Green, a physicist, invented laser-activated nanoparticles that target and kill cancer cells without chemo side effects. Cutting-edge medicine with precision. Bonnie Johnson, the Super Soaker creator, who's now building the JTEC heat-to-electricity converter for green energy. And last but definitely not least, Lanny Smoot, Disney Imagineer with 100+ patents, lightsabers, BB-8 systems, Holotile AR/VR. The future theme parks run on his tech. And some racists laugh and gawk at the idea of a shorter list. But that's just it. We could have an extensive modern list. If racist America would remove its allergy for peace, prosperity, and life, imagine how amazing our lives would be if we would just get out of the way and allow the natural creators to just thrive. Modern Black brilliance isn't waiting for permission. They're coding, cooling, giving, loving, nurturing, providing, struggling, hurting, fighting, entertaining, healing, and innovating right now. Hell, you are still following the path that Black Americans lead to this day. Black American Indigenous names don't belong in the footnotes, especially when they are always the subject and the body of the work.
Top 5 Black inventors they tried to erase, and number 1 will absolutely shock you. Number 5, Frederick McKinley Jones. He invented refrigerated trucks. Walmart and Tyson made billions. His name erased. Number 4, Benjamin Bradley. A teenager enslaved in the Navy, he built a steam engine for warships, but by law, he couldn't patent it. White officers claimed it. Number 3, Ned. He created the cotton scraper, doubling farm output. His owner stole the idea, white farmers profited, and Ned was erased. Number 2, Granville T. Woods, the Black Edison. He invented railway telegraphs. Edison tried to steal his patents. Woods beat him in court, twice. Number 1, Jan Ernst Matzeliger. He invented the shoe-lasting machine, making affordable shoes for all. The footwear industry exploded, his name buried. So why do we celebrate Ford and Edison but not Jones, Bradley, Ned, Woods, or Matzeliger? How much of America was built on stolen black genius? Comment, Black excellence, if you refuse to let their names stay.
Without foundational Black Americans, America has nothing. No future, no culture, no soul. Strip us out of the story and watch this whole nation collapse in real time. The truth is simple. They live off of us while lying to our faces. They steal our inventions, erase our names, eat our food, copy our slang, dance to our beats, and then dare to act like we're disposable. Without us, they stall. Without us, they starve. Without us, they stop moving. We gave you the personal computer. Mark Dean, a foundational Black American, co-created the IBM PC, holding 3 of the 9 original patents. Without him, there is no laptop, no smartphone, no internet. Every email, every TikTok, every algorithm, his genius built the world you live in. And yet they hand the credit to everyone but us. We gave you video games. Jerry Lawson invented the cartridge system. That invention became the backbone of a $200 billion industry. Every console you plug in, every game you load, traces back to him. But they crowned others kings of innovation while leaving his name in the shadows. We gave you GPS. Dr. Gladys West, a Black woman, mapped the Earth itself so satellites could guide you. Every Uber ride, every plane, every ship, every map app, without her, the world is lost. Yet how many schools teach her name? We gave you Mars rovers. Dr. Ayanna Howard, an FBA roboticist, coded the brains that let those machines move. Without her, they sit dead on red dirt. With her, the stars open. We gave you the space race itself. Katherine Johnson's calculations launched Apollo to the moon. Mae Jemison took us into orbit. Victor Glover lived months aboard the ISS. Aisha Bowe is about to fly with Blue Origin. They love to say they conquered space, but who actually put the numbers on the board? It was us and our children. They are already building the next world. Elena Annalee Wicker, accepted into medical school at 13, NASA intern and founder of Brown STEM Girl. Taylor Richardson, astronaut Starbright, raising millions to fund science opportunities for girls. Across the country, FBA youth are coding AI, inventing medical devices, filing patents. They are the living proof that the God particle never stopped moving forward. It just got younger, sharper, and more fearless. Why us? Because we are convergence. We are the only people forged through every storm. African, indigenous, European, Pacific, threads woven together into one people. Unlike bottleneck populations, we are the widest blueprint on Earth. That means adaptability. That means survival in changing climates and shifting societies in space itself. When the world bends, we don't break, we bend it back. And at the core of all of this is melanin, the God particle. Eumelanin, the armor shielding DNA from radiation, vital for space and a warming planet. Neuromelanin, the spark in the brain linking rhythm, creativity, and memory to dopamine itself. It's not just pigment, it's a superconductor, a living archive, a biological technology no lab can synthesize. It's why our rhythm moves the earth. It's why our memory survives erasure. It's why every beat, every dish, every invention keeps birthing revolutions, whether they want it to or not. And still, they steal, they rename, they rebrand. They hand Elvis the crown for rock and roll while burying Little Richard and Chuck Berry. They call soul food Southern cuisine while stripping it of our struggle. They turn hip-hop into pop and sell it back to us watered down. They whitewash history while living off of our frequency. So here's the question. If we gave them the computers, the games, the maps, the rockets, the music, the food, the slang, the swagger, what did they actually create without us? What is America without FBA? Nothing but a parasite feeding on its host. And the truth is, they know it. That's why they fight so hard to erase our names. That's why they build walls around opportunity. That's why they sterilized us, jailed us, flooded our neighborhoods with drugs, and still try to bury our brilliance. Because if the world knew the full truth, that their entire reality is built on our genius, the revolution would already be here. So let me say it plain. We don't just create culture. We are the culture. We don't just build tools. We are the architects of survival. We don't just adapt. We are the blueprint for the future. And that future isn't just 3D. It's 5D, 7D, infinite. Because melanin doesn't just protect the body, it encodes memory across dimensions. Our rhythm isn't just sound, it's vibration that reshapes reality. Our culture isn't just influence, it's the frequency of creation itself. So here it is. The sun is rising. The God particle is awake. And if the world lives off our genius, our inventions, our rhythm, our blueprint, then the future is not theirs, it's ours. The question isn't whether we're ready. The question is, how long are we going to keep letting them eat off us without paying the price of admission to the world we already built? Because the revolution isn't coming. The revolution is already here. The only thing left is for us to step into.
This is a proof that as time goes by, it keeps on proving what black people have been saying for the longest time. If you believe that you're better than black folks, if you believe that you are better, why did whites only towns or why did whites only communities fail? You know the answer. You definitely know the answer. And the answer is there is nothing great that you have done for yourself. And I'll explain this in this way. Our history books have lied to us that who invented this, who invented that, who invented this. But the reality of the matter is that 3/4 of black inventions were taken out of history books. And that's a fact. You need to look at it deeply so that you can get to see how they replaced black inventors. They replaced them with white inventors. They scrapped the names of black folks and they put the names of white folks there, so that when we learn history, we get to see that white people, they're so clever. They have highest IQ. One of the things that have been debated for the long time is IQ test between black people and white people. But when we get to look at the reality, we have seen that black people have done so much. I mean, this is not a rocket science. If you understand the history of America, if you definitely understand the history of America, you get to realize that black folks were literally building everything while white people were watching right on their face. The development that we are seeing America is having today, the banks, the everything that you're seeing America is having today, all those came as a result of, you know the answer. It came as a result of black folks, the works of black people, the struggles of black people, and what they did. It all comes down to that. All they ever did. So black people have really done a lot of things. Look at the talent that black folks have, the music that they invented, the blues, the jazz, the culture, and everything. Yet again, same white folks, they still have the guts to say that black folks don't have culture. They admire, they hate black folks, but they want to be like them. Why? It is because they cannot do without black folks. It is because black folks are the pest setters. It is because black folks lead and they follow. That is how it goes. That is how it has always been going. But one truth is that they won't admit. They won't admit this truth. Because if they admit this truth, it's gonna be affecting them. It's gonna be affecting the white supremacy that they are having at the back of their minds. Something that they have always believed. You know, they always wanted to make things about them. They always want to be on the spotlight. That's how they have always been. I always tell you that there is nothing in their vocabulary, there is nothing like equality. And nothing like that. Because if equality was being served, today we know damn well that black folks would have been so much far. But then they come up with all these systems that make black folks stagnate. They come up with these, all these things that make black folks not move, not grow. And then they tell black folks to pull themselves by the bootstraps. But I hope that as time goes by, you get to see the reality. You get to see the truth of the matter. And you get to see how all these things operate. And how it has always been operating for the longest time. Brothers and sisters, I don't really know what you think about this, but please let me know what you think about this, right? As you know, I'm your host and presenter Geopolitical Stories, but until then, let me see you in my next video. Until then, peace, love, and harmony.